Hi, welcome to Children's Time again. I'm just sitting here playing a game with my friend Morty. He's one of my friends from where the wild things are. And we're playing this Sudoku marble game. So I'm just going to show it to you for a second. Morty's all excited because he only has to put in one more marble. And well, Morty just found one that's going to need to go in. And then there's only one more left. He's so excited. So he's going to put it right in here. There it goes. Can you see it? But he's upset because there's one missing. What's going on, Morty? Yeah, right there. That's right. Well, you know what? We're missing one. We're missing one of the yellow ones. But I have this one. I think this would be okay. Don't you think it'll be okay? He doesn't think so. He's pretty upset. Let me tell you the story about the missing yellow one, okay? Well, he's right, and I really miss my yellow piece. When I was at my friend Blanche's, we lost the yellow piece, and I thought maybe her cats decided to take it and play with it, but we finally decided that it was probably Scary Cat that took it. Remember Scary Cat? Here's a picture of Scary Cat. Anyway, Morty and I wanted to read you a book about a fish that's having trouble fitting in and looks a little unusual. Let's listen. Big Al, written by Andrew Clements and illustrated by Yoshi. In the wide blue sea, there was a very friendly fish named Big Al. You could not find a nicer fish. But Big Al was very, very scary. Other fish seemed to have at least one friend, and some had many, but Big Al had none. He did not really blame the other fish. How could he expect little fish to trust a great big fish with eyes and skin and teeth like his? So Big Al was lonely, and he cried big salty tears into the big salty sea. Big Al really wanted friends. He worked hard at it. First, he wrapped himself up with seaweed. He thought it was a great disguise. But no one else did. Who wants to stop and talk to a floating plant that has big, sharp teeth? Then he thought that if he puffed himself up, the other fish would laugh and see how clever and silly he could be. All they saw was how big he could be, and they steered clear. Very early one morning Big Al went down to the bottom and flopped and wiggled himself into the sand until he was almost covered up. He looked much smaller. When the other fish came near, Big Al laughed and talked with him and had a great time. But then one scratchy grain of sand got in his gills, and he sneezed. And when the cloud of sound cleared away, all the other fish were gone. Big Al even changed his color one day so he could look like he belonged to a school of tiny fish passing by. He bumbled along with them for a while, laughing and feeling like he was just one of the crowd. But he was so big and clumsy that when all the tiny fish darted to the right and then to the left, Big Al just plowed straight ahead. He went bumping and thumping right into the little fish. Before he could even say, "Excuse me," they were gone, and he was all alone again, sadder than ever. Just when Big Al was starting to be sure he would never have a single friend, something happened. He was floating along sadly, and he watched some smaller fish and wished they would come closer. As he watched, a net dropped down silently from above, and in an instant the little fish were caught. Big Al forgot all about being lonely, and he forgot all about being sad. His eyes bulged out bigger and rounder than ever, and with a mighty flip of his tail, he opened his mouth and charged right at the net. The net was strong, but Big Al was stronger. He ripped right through it, and all the little fish rushed out of the hole. But when he turned around, he got tangled up in the net, and the net went higher and higher toward the bright surface of the sea. And the little fish watched Al as he disappeared above them. And when the little fish were able to speak again, they all talked about the huge, wonderful fish that had saved them and how wonderful it was to be free again. But what a shame that the big fellow had been captured. Just then there was a tremendous crashing splash above them, and the small fish dashed away. Was it the net again? Not at all. It was Big Al. Those fishermen took one look at Big Al and threw him right back into the ocean. And now there was one huge, puffy, scary, fierce-looking fish in the sea who has more friends than anyone else. Big Al. The end. Big Al really wanted to have friends, didn't he? He must have been so sad when the other fish rejected him because they thought he was mean and scary because of his looks, when he was really a very nice, sweet, considerate fish. They were judging him by the way he looked on the outside. Well, in Philippians, the reading today, Paul urges the people of the church not to judge other people and to be of one mind in accepting people into the church family, just as Jesus has taught them to do. And Jesus came to us as a humble and simple person, and a lot of people rejected or made fun of him because of this. Sometimes we forget that we have to live our faith all together in a church, just like the school of fish. And as a result of that, we have to deal with other people. And sometimes things are difficult. Sometimes we disagree. Sometimes we don't like the way people behave or the way they look. But like Big Al, we're urged to be like Jesus and to humble ourselves and try to be of one mind together in terms of what's our focus. Our focus is on loving others as Jesus has loved us. So as you go out, if you find someone that seems to have a good heart inside, but looks a little strange or a little unusual, try to go and be a good friend to that person and get to know them a little better. I hope you have a wonderful week, and I look forward to seeing you next week. Bye.